Welcome to my show. No music for my intro, though. I'm being really cheap. I'm being really cheap. I said, welcome to my show. No. Hey, what's up? It's me, LA. Pronounced like LA, like the city. I'm not from there, but I'm breezy. Reppin' Saginaw, Michigan, not Saginaw, Texas. Reppin' Saginaw, Michigan, not Saginaw, Texas. And I'm coming to you live with a segment here called When You're Poor. When you are poor. Not pour the milk, please, or pour some mo tea, sir. I'm talking about poor, P-O-O-R, not P-O-U-R. When you are poor, part 1. Glasses. Eyeglasses. That's what I'm talking about, okay? But, in life is life is cool, life is good, life is what it is until you start going out into the world and realizing that there is more to your life that you have and are living. For example, if you go to the mall and you're like, wow, look at all of these cool clothes. I didn't know there were so many kinds of choices that we could have tangibly, accessibly to us. Like, wow. When I say us, I'm not talking about black people. I'm just talking about people in general. It's like there's more out there than hand-me-downs. So why aren't we wearing these cooler clothes? Oh, we can't afford it. That's what I'm saying. When you are poor. What did you do? What have you done when you first realized maybe when your bubble burst and you're like, oh my gosh, we poor. I didn't know that. Wow, this is kind of embarrassing. What can I do to improve this? Is it humiliating when you first realize you were living below the poverty line, or are you just like, oh well, F it, and you just go back to doing what you do because it don't matter? So these are my stories coming up, realizing that, dang, according to my standards, we didn't have anything. We were poor. But I didn't care because I was happy and content with what I had, because I learned from Jump Street to just make do with what I had before me, and the rest will fall into place. Make if you don't have lunch meat but you have sandwich spread, have a sandwich spread sandwich. It was just simple math like that. Oh, we don't have any bologna. Okay, well, what's in there? You have to MacGyver your way through life, so it just becomes second nature. So I'm saying is, I'll be talking about when you're poor, speaking upon eyeglasses, because I know I'm not the only one who's gone through this, and there are adults now who are still going through this, maybe by choice because they choose to be cheap, because eyeglasses are eyeglasses and they rather spend their money on something else, or people who are still living below the poverty line according to American standards. So like when I was little, I found out I needed glasses in 3rd grade. And I'm like, okay, cool, I need glasses. I like glasses. I thought they were cool. Something cool. I thought pocket protectors were cool. Glasses were cool. Braces, I always wanted those. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I want glasses because it'll make my face look pretty. So I got my wish. The thing is, though, I think when we were in 3rd grade. I was in 3rd grade, so 92, 93. We went to this eyeglass place in this old mansion on the west side of our town. It was an old mansion, but they turned it into an eyeglass place, so we would go there. I thought it was so awesome. It's like, wow, how can you turn a big old house into a business? Because I thought a house was supposed to be a house, no matter the size. I'm like, what did you guys do with the kitchen? Where are the bedrooms? And how did you I think that was my first time actually realizing that you can convert buildings over into other uses. So I really was amazed that not only was it was a big mansion, it was on the other side of the town where our people growing up always hollered about, like, ooh, on the west side of town is where the rich people are. So I was feeding off that, not the rich people part, but the fact that it was supposed to be quote unquote better, streets cleaner, roads fixed, nice shrubbery, nice yards, grass, XYZ. So I'm like, okay, so I was really excited to see what all these grown people around me were talking about on the west side of town. I think we went one day, what I'm remembering is we went one day, quote unquote, as a family. Oh, my dad killed me with that as a family crap. That's a whole nother story, you know. As a family, my A-wipe, jeez. But we went as a family, looking stupid. I mean, why would you take your whole complete family just for one person to get their eyes checked? Well, that's how I felt, because I thought my family was pitiful. I'm like, I'm the only one getting my eyes checked, dude. You all really have to come to this? This is stupid. I mean, we taking up space in the waiting room, looking dumb. Nobody talking to each other. They probably can see the tension that we had to all be here as a family. So we're in the waiting room. It was kind of warm, so it was a sunny day. Don't think they had air conditioning on, but I could best believe and be reassured that those ladies behind the counter had personal fans. Personal fan. Personal. Shout out Marilyn Manson. Your music rocks. So we waited and OMG, we waited. And I know my dad don't have patience, so I think he went up there a couple times or sent my mama to the desk to see, excuse me, how long it's gonna take, how much more time? And you get the same answer, the doctor will be with you shortly, he just fell behind. I'm like, yeah, he just fell behind. He probably eating sandwiches and just forgot all about us. You know, the place was so big, no telling where he was at. He probably got lost in that big old mansion anyways. He was older than me, according to what my mom said, because I think she said, I used to go to this eyeglass place, so now I'm bringing you. So, you know, back then, old to me was like, old, like a cane and can't see, unfortunately. You know, like, maybe he lost. Maybe he fell down an elevator shaft, or all these stairs y'all have sprawled around this place, roped off. I'm like, okay, there's stairs, and you just have them roped off with a velvet rope. All I have to do is walk over it. How is that really going to prevent kids and black people and everybody else from going up these stairs? Idiots. Anyways. I can picture the eyeglass man with the cane, half blind, yet he's still an eye doctor, falling down the stairs. That's not funny. To be like, oh. The ladies who would put down their sandwiches and leave their personal fans and be like, doctor, oh my gosh. No, that will be a sight. Okay, back on task. So we finally went back there. We went off to the left. We were veered off to the left. I don't even think the lady got up from behind her desk. She just kind of stood up, leaned up from behind her cubby and pointed with her finger with an ink pen with a blue top and a clear bottom and said, okay, all you have to do, guys, is just go right down that hall, make a quick right, because there's no other way to turn, and you'll see the, our vision center and frame fitting section there. You know, I'm like, okay, cool, thanks. Couldn't get up to point us the way, even though we know we couldn't get lost, but regardless of the fact, I do remember that part. So, having said that, now that I'm thinking about it, I had already gotten my vision test in. I was just going to get my I was just going to get a fitting for my glasses for my frames then, so the lenses were in. So I wasn't getting an eye test, but having recalled that story, I was going to get my first pair of glasses. So maybe my dad, he never talked to us and explained to us the reasonings behind things. It was just do as I say and not as I do. Do as I say because I'm a man and head of this household. So like my husband always say, you know, if you give people room for assumption, they're just going to assume and try to put the pieces together. So I'm just here relaying my life and putting pieces together. So I'm thinking, well, maybe my dad was just excited to see his daughter with her first pair of glasses, but didn't want to ever voice it because maybe that wasn't a macho thing to say. You know, but I would have been happy to know. I think he wore glasses, my mom wore glasses, and then my older sister wore glasses. My little sister wasn't born yet, so it was just the four of us. Just the four of us. We didn't make it, but I sure tried. Just the none of us. We didn't make it, but I tried, Lord. Just the none of us. None but I. Shoot, man. I'm like, deuces to all y'all. You know, I went my separate way. Okay, so now we're in the eyeglasses place, and it was a big transformation because as we walked through the hall, the carpet was blue, and it was as if we were walking through a screened-in vestibule because on the left side it was so many. It was windows, windows and windows and windows all on the left, but they had those little window panes in it, like squares. So that was cool. So the windows looked like waffles. A long hall. We walked down, and then we got to the remodel part. You could really tell they spent money in the towards the front of that building because that's where you could really see the difference in renovation. Everything did look modern. The floor was shiny and wood, and it looked like it was real wood too, not that fake stuff neither, even for back then. So this was 92, 93. I could tell it was real, and it was so pretty. It reminded me of a dance room. Oh, I think I told that to my mom. I was like, man, this is like a dance room. But I kind of wish I didn't, you know. What was the point in telling her that? She wasn't going to do anything about it. She wasn't going to elaborate about dancing or, you know, babe, you could be a dancer if you want to. So we made it there, and I saw the glasses on the wall. And so while my mom and dad sat in the chair, my sister and I looked around at the glasses on the wall, just seeing, because I didn't know. So I was like, well, if I'm getting my glasses today, and I was told I can get any frame I want, loosely saying, you know, I can pick out my frame. So I'm looking like, ooh, maybe I want these, or you know how they have the kids wall, the teen wall, the baby wall, and like adult wall. So I was looking all over the place, and then I finally realized, I think my sister pointed out, well, these are glasses for your size, kids frames. And I saw so many cool ones, and I think the kids one was closer to the right of the department by another window. Oh, I love windows. The windows in the parking lot where we parked on that side. So it was the back. It went towards the back, facing the parking lot where we parked. So I'm like, okay, cool, I'm gonna get some really cool glasses. I'm saying this in my head. I was so excited. And then they called me back to get my fitting for my glasses, and I sat down in a really comfy chair. It was like wooden. The top part was oval, like the padding was oval, and it had all these swirls and the wood, you know, the frame. It looked like the top of it looked like a crown, and it was curly like vines of leaves, and the brown was like a deep brown, and it had a light lacquer over it, you know, just like really Snow White-ish, you know, with the loops and the embellishments of like carnations carved into the woodwork to match the padding of the padding of the chair, which was printed with carnations. So it was like carnations or flowers in the fabric of the padding of the chair, and then carved into the framing of the chair were flowers, out of wood. It's like, oh, that's so cool. I wouldn't want it for myself, but it was just neat. It was really neat. I think that was my first time really being, to my knowledge, somewhere so new and modern. The lights were up high, ceiling lights. Everything was bright, but the lights weren't harsh. They were soft, so they didn't hurt my eyes. Everything was shiny. It's like, wow, I didn't know they had stuff like this here. I was used to regular standard eye doctors where you go to a building. You know how eye doctors look today, a box, and you see glasses on the wall, a couple desks, and you have some offices in the back, but there's no color, the walls are white, no posters up, boring bland. But this eye doctor place was fancy. It kept me mentally busy while I did have to wait, stuff to look at. There were windows, so I got to actually look outside because the eyeglass place was on a busy street. It was facing Michigan. I think that's Michigan Avenue. And on the other side was Hess. So I think it's Michigan and Hess where the eyeglass place stood. So I had traffic to look at and scenery. So they called me over to sit, and lo and behold, I think like this lady, she had one of those lab coats on. So it was the doctor's assistant. She came, she had a nice smile. I didn't feel any negative energy from her. I don't think I did. She just was doing her job. But I felt embarrassed because once again our whole family was there. I'm like, this is stupid. Why is my whole family here? You guys are kind of embarrassing. They actually had to put extra chairs together just so I could, get my, how when you go to a restaurant and you have a party of 5, so they have to push tables together and bring chairs over. So that's what they had to do for us. I'm like, you guys are making the scene. Why can't some of y'all just go sit back there? Do y'all all have to be up here? Maybe I want some personal time to put my glasses on myself. When she came out with this white box, it looked like it could have been a box of white chocolates, like I was about to call him Harry Potter. Forrest Gump, womp womp. The white box of chocolates that Forrest Gump had. Well, she came out with a thin, long white box, and she opened it. No, she sat on the desk, and I think the doctor guy opened it, and he was like, basically, well, little girl, these are the glasses you get to choose from. I'm like, in my head, I feel so crushed. I don't know if my face showed it. I'm like, from here? Out of this box? I'm like, my mama didn't tell me my choices were this limited. I thought they said I could come up in here and get whatever ones I want. So I'm looking around on the wall, in the kids section at all my possibilities and how cool I think I would look in my mind when I went back to school in my glasses. I think I saw some blue ones, because then my favorite color was blue. So I think they were blue. The frames were round, and the color was like a dark ice blue, but it was like made out of that clear plastic, like those jelly shoes we used to wear back in the day. So it had a texture like that. I'm thinking it was something like that, but it was something I really wanted. So I just was waiting. I was hoping they, when he called me back to the table and was like, okay, little girl, which pair of frames do you want? I was gonna happily tell him at the wall I want those, but now you talking about something I gotta pick out of this box, this tired, dusty looking box, and all these colors are a dirty brown, red, silver, fake looking gold. And even though the lenses were round, they were too big. I'm like, why the lenses were big as donuts? I'm like, I'm not blind. why do I need lens crafter glasses so big? I'm not that blind. I was disappointed, and I don't even think I picked my first pair of glasses. I wasn't so much shocked, and I didn't know how to talk to my parents about stuff, because I found out, and I learned quickly, once I voiced my opinion, it got shot down, or they took it wrong and it turned into an argument, and it just didn't make sense. So I just was quiet, and I didn't know what to pick, and I probably ended up saying something like, I don't know. I just was disappointed and embarrassed, because I was so happy thinking I come up in here thinking, I'm gonna get some really cool glasses, and then, oh, here's the economical glasses. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then at that time, I think there was a little white boy in there, like with his dad or grandfather, I don't know. The guy's hair was silver, probably light brown going silver. And in my head, the boy looked like he was picking out what he wanted, but he was on the adult side. But in my head, I just automatically assumed that he was gonna get what he wanted. Why that came to mind, I don't know. It just seemed like that. I'm thinking back, I'm like, did they go down to get sized or fitted or something? I think I automatically assumed that they were gonna get what they wanted, because they were looking over there, picked out something, and took it to the desk. I'm like, we didn't do that. We pick it from this dirty A box. Oh, it was so humiliating personally, I'm like, why y'all making this a big event? We're drawing more attention to ourselves. Just to tell me I gotta pick some crap out of a dirty A box. So I didn't get the glasses I liked. They were ugly. And I know I didn't pick those frames, because the color was like dookie bronze. What the H? Really? I would have probably just picked black. Oh, I know I didn't pick those frames. They were hideous in color. So, I'm quite sure my parents chose for me, because I know I didn't like those frames. But that's when I realized, like, economic package. He didn't say economic, but he said a word that meant, like, basically, this box is for poor people. This is what you have to pick from. So it was like 16 to 12 choices, compared to the nationwide wall of beautiful choices, such as, they may have like Disney Channel glasses, Nickelodeon glasses, and all these name brands I didn't know at the time, but they just look more fun. Like, hey, all the cool kids wear these glasses. Oh, she's getting glasses out of the dirty poor people box. It hurt. I didn't even want to wear the glasses to school. And then the case they put my glasses in was like a folded over cloth taped around some cardboard. You know what I mean? Compared to the cases I saw that the other glasses could have come in, when you close them, they, snap shut. I'm like, ooh, I don't even want my glasses. I'll just be blind. Because I'm thinking of the glasses this one girl had in school. Her glasses looked cool. And actually, they did, if I'm thinking right. I just... My glasses didn't have any personality. If anything, they made me look more stupid. Stupid A glasses. Now, you tell me, since when putting on glasses make you look more stupid? Well, mine's did. It's supposed to make me look smart like a geek. I look like a jackass. There's no other way I can put it. I have a class picture of that somewhere. I don't think I'm gonna put it in this one, but eventually I'll start finding my pictures. I'm just going with the flow right now. I'm not trying to stress too much or overwork, but I do want to start getting my story out there. I do have a 13-year-old, and why not start documenting my stuff? Why not, Oh my gosh, those stupid ash brown glasses. Oh man, I was just so disappointed. And the frame was so big. I'm like, why is it so big? It looked like I'm wearing a fishbowl. No, it wasn't bifocals neither, y'all. They just were big. I didn't have any bifocal things. They weren't heavy. Heavy, baby. They're just too heavy for me. But yeah, you know, so that added, that wasn't the first day I realized I was poor, but it was when I realized that the well runs deep when you're poor, and the veins and the roots expand out far and wide. I'm like, how come these people on the west side know we poor? I'm like, they're not even supposed to know us, but gosh, I don't even want to come on this side of town, because now they know we gotta, oh, when those black people come, they gotta get glasses out of the dirty box, because they're economically challenged, or something about insurance. I didn't know what insurance and stuff, man. I'm like, man, I thought insurance was supposed to have our backs. Apparently they don't. Oh my gosh. You know, it's just sad, man. It's sad. I don't want to go to the eye doctor and have to I'm like, is this how it's gonna be every time I come up in this piece? Just put blinders on, mama, and don't look around at the wall and my hopes and dreams of dope glasses, because I'm gonna go straight to the box and pick out something dusty out of there that don't match my style. You talking my style? No, not matching my style. You're not matching my style. I know I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one who felt that way. It's like, dog, man, can this curse ever lift? Do you have to constantly remind us every time we turn around that, oh, you poor, you gotta get this kind? And then on top of that, we gonna really make the frames look like you poor. And so when people see you with your glasses on, they're gonna judge you by your glasses and be like, oh, she got the cheap frames. She's got the economic special glasses. She's financially challenged. Oh, let's not even let her in our store, because based on her glasses, she's not gonna even be able to afford anything out of our store. See, I took it there, man. That's the way I felt that was passed on me that day. You know, it unlocked something in my head I wasn't ready to unlock. I just wanted to be a kid, man. But I'm like, being poor, it's starting to have limitations. Limitations of humiliation. But here I stand. Nonetheless, I know I'm not the only person who's gone through this blowback of realizing that you can't get the frames you want. So might as well sit your asses down, look at an old magazine from 20 years ago that they have, get some of their dry tasting coffee, and just wait for them to call your name, and you reach down in there like bobbing for apples and just pick a frame and just tell them, here, just give me these, call me when they ready, cause that's all we got, you know. Yo, man, this is me, LA. Pronounced like LA, like the city. I'm not from there, but I'm Reezy, repping Saginaw, Michigan, not Saginaw, Texas. Coming at you live with the When You Pour Part 1, talking about eyeglasses, man. I went through it. This world is big. I know there's at least 1 million more people who can agree with me. Cheap glasses, man. It's people petty out here, man. They'll base you solely on those. It would be nice to just walk in there and be like, yo, I just like these glasses and I'ma get them. You know, man, you know what I mean? Like, look, it's like, dog, I don't want to have to be forced to have to get these because that's all I have to choose from. You know, it's like, dang, this is sad. Can y'all step up your glasses game? Oh, eyeglass people, y'all need to raise the standards. People come there, just give us something, you know. Don't make our glasses look piss poor, man. You know, people, Give us something, dog. I mean, our glasses look like they made out of paper towels and glass. They talk about don't wipe your lenses with a paper towel because it's gonna scratch you. You gotta use this cloth. Now I'm gonna only get you one cloth now. You can't get another one. Cause if you need another one, the cloth's real expensive. You hear me? I'm like, what? Okay, wait a minute. You gonna first give me some cheap glasses and then talk to me like I can't even afford to take care of these, cause if I do, I only get one pair out of the year and I'm plumb out of luck if I break them. And then I can't clean them with something economical like a tissue cause it's gonna scratch the lens. But you gonna give me this one cloth, you hear? This one cloth. And if I lose that, I'm plumb out of luck. Because little girl, you can't afford the special technological glass wipe because it's $35 a cloth. I'm like, now how that sound? If y'all put me in the poor section, why you gonna give me a cloth that I better not lose? That's $35. Oh, you want me to wipe my glasses with a paper towel so I can scratch them so I can continue to be blind? Oh, I see where this is going. How many of y'all keep your little cloth that they give you to especially wipe your glasses? Or how many of y'all just go and wipe them on your shirt and be like, Jesus, well, because I ain't got the time. Keep my glasses safe, Lord, because I'm not paying $39.95 for a cloth. I'll show you a cloth. I'll stuff it up your... Welcome to my show. No music for my intro though. I'm being really cheap. I'm being really cheap. I said welcome to my show. No. Hey, what's up? It's me, LA, pronounced like LA, like the city. I'm not from there, but I'm breezy. Reppin' Saginaw, Michigan, not Saginaw, Texas. I'm reppin' Saginaw, Michigan, not Saginaw, Texas. Coming again to y'all beautiful people all around the world with a wonderful topic. When you're poor, part 2, going shopping for a car. The long walk to the back of the parking lot. the walk of shame, of humiliation and embarrassment. Almost like taking the bus. Well, in this town, you get clowned for taking the bus. It's gotten better, but because some of those same people talking about folks taking the bus on the bus now. Probably. What I'm saying is, okay, part 2, when you're poor. When you're poor, part 2, going shopping for a car. The long walk back to the end of the parking lot. It's not like, dang, I was about to call them Backstreet Boys. What do you call those people? Grown amen. No, boys to men. Boys to men. Go to the end of the road. We're going to the end of the parking lot. You know, I don't think I ever really realized the embarrassment of going to the back of the parking lot at a dealership such as General Motors, for example. Because that's the only place my dad would ever go to. General Motors. So every time we went to GM, I never noticed us going to the back of the parking lot until it was time to get my car. But for some reason, what made it seem so bad is that what deflated the whole situation on me getting the car in general, I didn't care what kind of car it was. I was not picky. It was the actual process of how my dad talked to the car dealer, you know, and how that was handled. Okay, so I believe me and my dad just went together to get my first car. Now that's a family moment where everybody should be together as an MFF family. Don't you think? Not no dang old eyeglasses, but a car. My sister though, she was grown. I believe she graduated from high school and was working a job and just, you know, finally getting out there, like mingling with friends and stuff. So we couldn't catch up with her anyways. But my mom, woman, there was no reason for you not to come. This was something big. This was my one shiny moment. You should have been there. But that's okay though. My little sister, of course, she was in school, obviously. So, yeah, it was just me and my dad. But mama, you should have came. I don't know why you didn't come. Whatever though. So it was me and my dad. We went to a General Motors to get my first car, and we pulled up into the parking lot. I think we parked in the front. He pulled over in front of the dealership and parallel parked. Something I still struggle with to this day. Okay, moving on. We got out of the car. And then, you know, like vultures, the car people come out. Customer. So one of them swooped down on my daddy's shoulders. I believe it was someone he knew because my dad was kind of a regular there. So the guy was chatting with my dad and was like, so you're here. Long time no see. Nice to see you here. You get your car all tuned up. You know, guy talk. So I'm just standing around like, shut the F up. I'm ready to get my car. You ain't over here to get a car, so just shut up. But I didn't say anything, okay? I'm just waiting for my moment. And looking around, I had already saw something that caught my eye. It was like a truck, some type of SUV at that time. And I just looked at it. I didn't physically go over there. I just looked at it with my eyes because I didn't even want to go over there. By this time, I was so accustomed to knowing that you can't afford that. Don't even be looking at it. I'm like, well, dang, is it a sin? Is it a crime to go look at something that, I'm using air quotes, I can't even afford? I can't even go look at it just to see? No, don't, you might as well come on back over here because you can't afford it. Ain't no business looking at that. That's pretty much how my dad's personality was. I'm like, you failure mindset. You can't look at it just because you can't afford it. Whoa. You know, dang, can I at least look at it though? So I liked it. I didn't like that it was red because it was too bright. And I think he still saw me. He has to have seen me look at it still. Oh, that's red. That's bright. That's going to make the insurance too high. It's going to attract too much attention. You can't get that anyways. It's too expensive. I'm like, what the age? What the unholy age? Stop humiliating me. Why can't I just go look at it? You didn't set any ground rules about what I could and couldn't get anyways. No price point. All you said was we going to get a car. Fine. I'm being good. I'm appreciative. I'm happy to get anything. What's wrong with looking? Especially while you guys are talking. I mean, you guys are talking about stuff I don't care about. What do you want me to just stand around and skin and grin and be like, oh, I'm such a good daughter? Bingo. That's what it is. Just standing around like a stupid dog. So I just like that, and to this day I still like SUVs and trucks, pickup trucks and stuff. But SUVs are dope. But of course we didn't get it, and then he ruined the moment saying that if he was playing, I don't know, but you just quit shattering people's dreams every time. And he just sounds so serious, like I was gonna have a mental breakdown if I didn't get the car. So back to the conversation. The guy, the car dealer was like, so, he's rubbing his hands together. So, what can I do you for? What can I get you? What are you here for? See, you brought your little girl. Oh. My dad was like, yeah, my little girl, she ain't so little no more. So last year she graduated already, about to go to college, gotta get her something nice, XYZ. I'm rolling my eyes. And, so the girl's like, going to college, hey? Where you going? You going somewhere far, like Texas Tech or California State, or you getting out of here? And my head was like, I wish I could. You just don't know the shackles they put on my head, the rules they have. I wasn't going nowhere but to a stupid ass community college. Barf. I wish I could have left. I would have been like Scar, run away and never come back. So anyways, no. I'm like, no, I going to Delta College. Our community college is called Delta. I think I answered. I'm like, no, I'm going to a community college. And I answered it nice, like I was so happy with my decision. And I was not. I didn't even want to go to college after high school. I was so tired of school. I wanted a break. But they weren't having it, so moving forward, they were talking, and my dad, they finally got down to the business far as, okay, so what can I do you for? You're getting your daughter a car, your baby girl a car for college. She graduated, XYZ, and, so what are you looking at? Hey, girl, he didn't say girl, so what are you looking at? What do you have in mind? In my head, I'm like, what difference do it make? Because, what I really, really, really want, for real, if I could get it, he's just gonna say no anyway. So I just said it don't matter, because it didn't. I knew my limits with these people. It didn't matter. Just give me a car, okay? I said it didn't matter. But the way the conversation went with my dad, it was like, the guy was basically discussing price points. Let's just say, for example, okay, you want your daughter to be, I'm paraphrasing and kind of embellishing, but this is roughly how it went. This is years ago. So, okay, your daughter's graduated and want to get her a car. Your price point, 17,000. Oh, no. Whoo, no. Okay, how about 10,000? You want her to be safe while she's going on the highway. And I'm like, okay, safe while she's going on the highway. I'm like, yeah, that is true. I said I'd get anything, but I was the stereotypical girl. I didn't know anything about cars, just get in and go. I knew they broke down, but I didn't know the mechanisms of how they kind of work. I left that up to my father because he's a man and he's supposed to know. So I'm like, safety? In my head. No, I'm like, okay, I still have a smile pasted on. While I'm using air quotes, negotiated. We're walking and we're going nowhere really. We're just by the garage where the cars get fixed. There's the offices, and then you walk a little back. You're midway in the parking lot, okay, and there's the garages. So we're kind of standing around. The guy's still trying to fill out my dad to figure out a price point. So we're at 10,000 park range, 2 digits, and my dad was like, no. Well, okay, okay, 10,000 not the way to go. How about, what can I do you for 7? You're still safe. You still can get you a good car. I know some people who got some good cars for 7,000. It didn't take no, I don't want nothing for 7. Okay. So by that time, I don't know, it just started going south inside how I felt. I'm thinking it's just how he answered the guy. I'm like, well, you don't gotta be rude. He tried to be nice, but my dad is agitated and he tried to be nice. It don't come out right. He might as well just be his mean self when he loses temper. Cause it's worse when he try to be nice and he's agitated. Oh man, it's very uncomfortable. So I was starting to feel some type of way, because I kind of didn't realize that the lower you go in price point with the car, the higher the risk you are as far as safety factor. Like, dang, okay. I did say anything, but safety. I know I can't get what I want because I know cars are expensive, and that's what my concern was. I was more concerned about the price point, saving money. I didn't really honestly make the connection that if you got a nice price car, it equal to some safety issues, staying power, but the lower you went, the less safety you had. So I didn't know that until that moment. So I kind of just was like, man, okay, well, I'm still happy to get a car. So we ended up going to the back of the parking lot. So the guy basically was like, well, let's see where this is going. Let's just go to the back. And then my dad got really happy. His demeanor changed. Now you're talking, like, hey, now you're talking. Like, why didn't you just go back there already? Save me the pain and humiliation. You were cheap, fine, I get it, cool. Why shuck and jive? And why didn't you just say this embarrassing conversation to let the world know and the dealer know you were cheap, and just tell the man how you doing, and then just take me on back to the back of the wall. You start at the front of the car lot. You see the showcase. Like, hi. I didn't want to showcase car, but I'm saying you see the showcase, the grass cut, windows clean on the car, shine. You got that deep waxing where you can see your own reflection. You can see your past. That's how good the wax job is on the car. I'm seeing stars in the paint. You can smell the rubber on the tires. You can smell the armor roll. You can see the love and the care. These people holding umbrellas over each of these cars because it's a little overcast. You know, birds coming by, they kind of have their little water pistols shooting at the birds, so the birds won't make a mess on these cars. I know I'm not getting those. They're getting too much of a special treatment, and those cars probably running like $100,000. You know, so we moved to the middle of the parking lot. I get it. I'm like, let's just start at the middle of the parking lot according to my logic. Okay, you know, I see some papers running around in this area, chip bags, you know, no grass at all, straight concrete, but the concrete is different. Like at the front of the car lot with the nice cars getting the tender love and care, it's all tarred off nice and black, that nice fresh black top. And when it's the kind of like when it get hot, you can smell the tar like it's actually cooking. You know, it's fresh, it smells good. It's black and the lines bright gold, and you know, everything looked good. Got to the middle, I didn't see any parking lines, and the parking lot in the middle was ashy gray. There weren't any cracks though, so it was still good. So I'm like, okay, you know, just let me tell the story. So it was good, you know, like, okay, I get it. I wanna make a difference in the separance between the pristine and the middle. I get it though. The cars didn't have a wax on them. It looked like it had a nice wax on it. You know, that's good. Like, you wash the car and it got a nice natural shine to it. That's what it looked like. The windows were cracked a little, ventilation. Okay, cool. Maybe the cars were a little stuffy. Maybe they just sat there a little longer than the ones in the front. I don't remember seeing any umbrellas though, and people with water guns on standby to keep the birds away too much. But I did see like a janitor dragging a trash can around with a Dollar Tree picker upper, like those prison people use on the side of the highway when they're picking up paper, those long sticks with pinchers on it, you know, just dipping trash into the bag. You know, I saw that. So okay, I'm like, they're getting a little careless. They're responsible and thinking about picking up the trash, the quality assurance, so we don't be stepping in gum and chip bags. I get it, fine. We went on past that too. You know, the closer we get to this back of the wall, to which I've never been to at a car lot until that day, and further away from the front of the front, you know, get it putting on the front, dang, to the front of the dealership, I began to turn around and see the distance, and the not only the distance, but the difference. The difference. Oh, what a difference a day will make. No, what a difference a few paces will make. You know, that road started looking a little long and lonely. A lonely road. Something, 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 something. Ah, 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 ah. Green Day, what's up? That's how it looked as I turned around. And when I turned back around, I was at the wall. Back of the fence. And I saw sawdust, gravel, broken glass, no pavement. Hey, the Lord is good, because if I kept walking backwards as I was looking towards the front of the parking lot at the pristineness, I would have fell down there and twisted my ankle, because there was no more pavement. It was like a 30-foot drop. You know, they just stopped. The pavement was gone. I'm like, where's the cement at? I could have fell. Oh! Okay, it wasn't that far of a drop, but I could have rolled my ankle though. So, you know, I'm like, dang. Way to go, Dad. Way to make me feel good. This is sad, you know. Oh, maybe that's why we went in the morning, because when nobody else around shopping. You was a burst too. main distinction though. I'm like, so I gotta walk through broken glass, cobwebs, A-tracks, beer bottles, cigarette butts, gravel. And I'm like, why do these cars have so many papers duct taped to the window? I'm over exaggerating. Duct taped to the front of the window. I'm like, as is. I'm like, what they talk about as is? 2-day warranty. I'm like, what the truck? I said TRUCK. 2-day warranty. Take at your discretion. Sound waiver upon entering. Wait, I'm like, wait a minute. No, this just don't sound safe at all. Maybe I just start taking the bus. Maybe I just won't go to school. College. Yeah, maybe I just, maybe Dad, I'll give me another job and I'll just save it for my own car because this just don't sound safe. If I just save it for my own car, that means I don't have to go to college. Oh no, we ain't having that. You need to get your education. That's a whole nother story, man. Education is overrated. Depending on what you want in life. Jeez, man. I'm not trying to impress the nation, so what I need to be a doctor for then to have a 12-figure bankroll for if I don't need all that stuff. Oh my goodness. I can read and write. Isn't that good enough? Salad. So I'm at the back looking at these tired cars. One row lined up looking like the mugshot alley at the jail. Everybody line up. Dusted, dry, tires on flat, tires on bricks, tires on wood, tires on lean. Windows cracked. One windshield wiper stuck on the car won't go down. Car smelling, every last one of them. Windows all rolled down. All of them smell like cigarettes. Trunks dirty. Some of the trunks don't close. Don't make me pop the trunk. Well, it's a little too late for that. The trunk is already popped and it looks like a body was in there previously. Because the indentation sure don't look like where that was a spare tire sitting down in there. I'm just so I'm like, that's a big dang difference, Daddy. That's a big dang difference from pristine medium to you get what you get. So I'm trying to just pick out the best. If I'm here to get whatever I want out of this lot, fine. Can you at least just give me that? Can I just have that choice, or should I just stay home? Because you're going to pick a car for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe I saw a car that I wanted. It was a Buick 4-door. Let me look up right now to try to give y'all the make. I'm gonna look that up right now. I think it was a Buick, B-U-I-C-K 4-door. I want to say like a 1984, 1987. I'm gonna type in Buick 4-door 1987. Okay, so yeah, it was around. That is so ugly. Not that one. Okay, see, so I believe the car I was interested in was like a Buick Century. That's what it was, 1987 Buick Century, something around there, but it was a Buick Century. I believe it was tan. But I like that it was square. I like that it had 4 doors. I like that it was simple. I like that the way the door swung open. I like that it was a lot of room in the back, but it wasn't too big. I like that the windows were big, so it would allow me to be able to park backwards or see what was behind me. The windows weren't all fancy and slanted. It was just a basic car that would help me drive and be able to see, because it's hard for me to see sometimes. So the way those windows were made, I knew I would be able to see all around me, especially merging. Oh my gosh, merging is still scary to this day. But of course my dad didn't want me to get that car. It was something about it didn't look like it was gonna hold up. I'm like, Edward, none of these cars back here look like they gonna hold up, man. What you talking about? I could have just stayed home. Oh, you know what? I just figured it out. Who was going to drive the car home? So you had to come. But if you had somebody to drive the car home, I probably wouldn't have been there. It would have just been better if he did that. I just stay home too with mama. And he just pulled up in the car and said, "Here you go." It would have saved me the pity and the hell. And why you bring me in if I couldn't pick anyways? So, long story short, I couldn't get that, but I really have rather had that. I ended up getting a, let me see if I can look it up. Buick, I think it was a Skylark. I'm going to say 1992. I'm going to see if that comes up. Buick Skylark. Let me see images. Of course it was a Buick. Yeah, oh my gosh, I'm so smart. It was a Buick Skylark. Like 92, and it was a 2-door. It was teal. I liked the color, but I didn't like that it was 2 doors, and I didn't like that the windows were more narrow. I knew I was gonna have some issues seeing out of it. It was cute though, but I didn't like 2 doors. I'm like, I gotta use the trunk. I need to use the back seat. I'm going to school, so I'm gonna be throwing stuff back there. And the 2-door, you gotta move the seat up, put the stuff back. If you gotta give your friends a ride, if I had friends, you gotta be like, girl, get out of the car so she can get in. It's just an inconvenience. So that's what I ended up getting. I took a liking to the car, of course, but it wasn't really what I wanted. I wanted something else, and I apparently didn't get it because it didn't seem like it was safe. And the car guy was like, "Oh, that's a nice car. It's a nice color. Yeah, I believe in this car. It gets you safe, and I know the girl who drove it." I'm just over-exaggerating. Story. So I got that one. But that was my experiences of realizing that's where the poor people shop, at the dealerships. Go take your way to the back. Go on to the back. So you go into the car. Park your car. You might not even want to park your raggedy car in the car lot because they already judge. As soon as you pull into the car lot, they're judging already on your car. "Oh, you're trading it in, right?" "No, I need this car for a second car. I need a second car." No, or they're just already judging, looking at what you're wearing. And they don't have to say nothing. They're just pointing. Go to the back. They're just pointing right to the back. They're not even saying hi anymore. Just go to the back, go to the back, go to the back, go to the back. It's embarrassing. Go to the back. Bargain shopper. Poor person. Gotta take that long walk past all the pristine cars to the medium end cars, and then fall down in this creek where the vultures are. Hey, that's where the vultures are. And raccoons and snakes and dirty, scary men who look like they hurt children working on those cars. They're smoking cigarettes, working on cars, not even thinking about customers here, and the car could blow up. They're just smoking and dirty and stinking, A-crack showing. That's where all the bad workers work. It's like, man, I think I'll take my chances getting the car out of somebody's yard opposed to coming back here. At least I don't have to go through the walk of shame. Go back to the back of the wall where the vultures are. Dusty. I could get lost. I could get kidnapped back there, man. Like, what, Dragon Alley and Harry Potter, where all the bad people go? The skull. I could have lost my life back there. I could have died. I've been snatched up by some wino. They wouldn't have cared. The raggedy cars was already back there. It was an escape car. They could just put my body in there and drove off. They wouldn't have been the wiser. Daddy. How dare you take me there to Junkman Alley to get a car? They could have blew up on me trying to save a couple dollars. I'm just teasing. Alright, tell me what you think. Tell me about your first car. Did it even run? Did that thing even turn on, or did it go? This is me, LA, pronounced like LA, like the city. I'm not from there, but I'm breezy, repping Saginaw, Michigan, not Saginaw, Texas. When you're poor, part 2, going shopping for a car, the long walk to the back of the fence. How droll. Welcome to my show. No music for my intro, though. I'm being really cheap. I'm being really cheap. I said, welcome to my show. No. Hey, what's up? It's me, LA, pronounced like LA, like the city. I'm not from there, but I'm breezy. Repping Saginaw, Michigan, not Saginaw, Texas. I'm from Saginaw, Michigan, not Saginaw, Texas. It's me, LA, in the heezy, though. Welcome to my TV show. Welcome to When You're Poor, part 3. When you're poor, like Poor, not Pour, like pour me some more Kool-Aid. Today I'll be talking about unsatisfactory foods that you gotta eat. You meaning me meaning you. This is my life, told in a comical way. Some of my tales have been over exaggerated just to get a point across, but nonetheless it's loosely based on my life. Gotta start putting it down in the logs, putting my life down in the logs, living my life like it's golden. Now now that I'm grown, it's golden. The unsatisfactory foods you gotta eat, man. Welcome to my show. Okay, like, this is just gonna come right off at the top of the dome. None of this is rehearsed, so I'm really going back live as you listen to me and as I speak about how it was growing up and the foods we had to eat. So bear with me. Okay, like, we lived in an apartment, me, my mom, and my older sister. It was just the 3 of us. Boom. We can make it if we try. Just the 3 of us. Shoot, I liked it when it was just the 3 of us. Okay, so I do remember government cheese. Oh, you can't say government cheese. Not up in here. Not in this house. Not in this house. We don't talk like that. Don't tell nobody you get government cheese and pork in the can and shoot. Did we get crackers? I don't know if we got crackers, but crackers was cheap. So I mean, you could easily buy crackers. You could cash in some pop bottles and or find some change on the street or in your couch cushion or in your car cushion and get you a box of crackers or a sleeve of crackers. Like if you went to 7-Eleven and bought you know how at those convenience stores they have many boxes of everything. You could go to 7-Eleven and get, or the gas station, and get like one row of crackers. Struggle life. Okay, back to the food bundle. Back in the day, because I was born in 84, so we got government assistance. We got the cheese, love the cheese. Trick love the cheese. Ooh, yeah, Trick love the cheese. I'm not calling myself a trick. I'm making a reference to a song, people. I believe it was by Trick Daddy called Trick Love the Kids. Okay, so we got the cheese, we got the pork in the can, we got the peanut butter. Now I'm not sure if it was crunchy or creamy. I think it was crunchy, but I could be biased because I just prefer crunchy or over creamy. But we did get peanut butter. What else did we get? That's the main things I remember. So where we're from, we had to go to this building. Let me see if I can type it in while I talk. There is a building located in Saginaw, formerly called, let me see here, CAC Hall, Saginaw, Michigan. There was a place where we had to go get our food. It's now called the CAC Community Action Center building. It's a community aging commission building now, but at the time, like in the 80s, because that's when I was born, 84, early 80s, we went there. So the address was 2824 Perkins Street, Saginaw, Michigan. 2824 Perkins Street, Saginaw, Michigan. Growing up, we had to go to that building specifically and stand in this long line where a whole bunch of other people were just standing in line talking and running their mouths and waiting to get their box of food. It seemed like we did that every month. And my mom used to always say when we went, oh my gosh, she never let it down, to the point when I started going with her, I just started ad-libbing for her and narrating for her because she always said the same thing. So we would pull up into this former welfare office to pick up our food package, and she'll be like, I remember when this used to be the skating ring. Oh, we used to have a good time here. I'm like, how come old people always drive by buildings and tell us what it used to be? But what made it so agitating and annoying is the fact that how they said it, like they wish they could go back. I'm like, well, you can't, and you stuck with us. So please live in the present, because you making me feel bad, because the way you're reminiscing, you wish you were there. I remember when this used to be the roller skating building. We used to have so much fun here. This was where we used to hang out. Like, shut up! It's my time now. It's my time to shine. But I couldn't tell her that. I just was like, okay, yeah, sure, mom, cool, XYZ. So that's what we got. But at the same time, it was taboo. I think that's the right word to say. Outside of going to get our government food boxes, outside of that, if we said that we got food stamps or a government cheese anywhere else, it was wrong to say. My mom, I could tell it made my mom uncomfortable to just flat out say, we're getting food stamps. I'm like, what's so wrong with food stamps? We gotta eat. Don't tell nobody you get food stamps. Tell nobody need to know. Don't put those people in our business. I'm like, but when we go every month to the place, you talking to everybody and, girl, how you doing? And what you getting today? Yeah. Like, it's okay. So you sending mixed messages. Oh, it's okay to be when in Rome, do as the Romans when you get in your box, because everybody else and their mamas in that environment is getting the same thing you're getting, so you feel no shame. You don't feel any shamefulness. But when we get home and back into our quote-unquote regular everyday lives, not around all the other people getting food stamps and WIC or whatever, we can't talk about it. I'm like, dude, that's so stupid. So I learned that we didn't talk about it. But I kept forgetting, though, because I just didn't see how big of an issue it was. I thought it was stupid. I thought she was tripping. So I would forget. And when I forgot, she would make this face like I'm embarrassing her. And I probably did. But you know what I'm saying? Like I'm embarrassing her, really, because we're getting food stamps. I'm like, really? Look at the neighborhood we're living in. And it don't say we're rich. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it'd be different if we lived in Bel Air like Fresh Prince and we were fronting like we could afford the place and we're still on stamps. You know, I get that if you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, but shoot, we lived in a bad part of town. You know, it wasn't any wealthy or rich people there, so what's the big deal? I mean, just based along where we lived, everybody probably knew we was getting stamps. paper food stamps at that. So moving on, I liked the cheese. It was great. Every once in a while, we would get the cereal, and I don't know why we hardly got the cereal. I remember Trix cereal. That was my favorite cereal at the time, but it was rare when we got sugary cereals, like name brand cereals. I think I remember King Vitamin every once in a while, but we hardly got that. But now that I'm older, I'm realizing when you have WIC, your kid can only be 5 years and younger to get the cereals and juice. So by the time I really start remembering stuff, I was 5 going on 6. So we just missed the cereal part. So when it was time to get, when it was time for my mom to buy cereal for real, apparently we couldn't afford it all the time, But when we did get good cereal, name brand cereal, I do remember Trix and Alphabet cereal. Trix back then, it was little balls. It was like they were green or something. They were shaped like Kick cereal, but a different color. Alphabet cereal, I think the cereal, the letters were bigger, a little bit bigger and fluffier too. Nowadays, the Alphabet cereal is kind of harder to chew and the words are smaller. Trix cereal changed totally. Of course, it's got fruit shapes and stuff like that. But I hardly remember getting cereal all the time. Like most people, cereal is just a daily staple that you get. I don't remember that. I don't remember our refrigerator being full in the apartment we lived in, but I liked it. I was happy. It was just us three, me and my older sister and my mom. I remember opening the refrigerator. And it was never really anything in there. I remember bologna always being in there. Thank goodness I like bologna. Oh my gosh, but I remember one day I didn't know that food was so hard to come by. Okay, so I remember one day I came home early from school. Must have been a half day or something. So 84. Okay, we were living over there. I was either in preschool or kindergarten. So one of those grades, preschool, kindergarten, or first grade. I want to say it was kindergarten or first. Anyways, my mom was like, I'm getting ready to go to sleep. Don't eat all the bologna. She said, only get one piece of bologna. And in my head, I'm like, one piece of bologna? Why am I only able to get one piece of bologna this time? Usually I could get 2 always. I'm like, one piece isn't even going to be enough. Because I used to just eat it by itself without bread. And I was hungry and I just made do with what we had because I don't remember bread being there on the constant neither. So, I just made do with what I had. But one day, that day, she went to sleep. I decided to get another piece because I'm like, this woman is crazy. Why all of a sudden I can't have 2 pieces? So I got another piece. Okay, so I ate 2, and I was sitting on the couch just in my own world. As time went by, my mom woke up and she got mad. I got a whooping for that. I told you not to eat 2 pieces of bologna. I got a whooping for that. And I'm like, I wish you would explain yourself more because I just got another piece. I was hungry. So I'm like, okay, in my head, I'm like, you gonna whoop me because I was hungry? That's how I saw it. And you didn't fully explain yourself because I got 2 pieces instead of 1. You at least could have told me why. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, it's something left. I left you some. And I don't think my older sister really wanted any. Dog. Who knows? But I got a whooping for that. I'm like, this is stupid. So I started realizing that food was scarce and food was important. And I had to kind of be careful how much I ate. But it was like, dog, this is stupid. Why would you give me a whooping for that? And I think when my dad so happened to come over that day, I think she told him and it made the situation worse. I'm like, this is stupid. I think he just laughed it off. But dang, it was so retarded. Why she got really upset about that. And when I mean really upset, there's different levels to my mom being upset, but this was like she's got 1 tier, 2 tier, 3 tier. She was like level 3 tier. I'm like, this is so dumb. If you just talk to me and explain to me like, hey, just get 1 piece because, you know, maybe your dad's coming over and I want to make sure I have enough. If you give me a full logical explanation, it would make more sense to me. Because she didn't give me that. So I just went on and did what I had to do. Because I'm like, she crazy. This not even making sense. I'm hungry. So, hey. Let's see. Moving forward, those are my stories from living in the apartment. Now I'm going to move forward into the years and days when my dad came back into our life permanently. We lived in a suburb where everybody claimed that's where rich people stayed. I didn't know what that meant at the time, but that's where we moved out to, where the rich people stayed. But even then, we had food. We did have food. The fridge was filled, but it wasn't filled with good food. It was filled with a lot of food, I think, from like my grandfather, because at that time my grandfather had a whole bunch of gardens like everywhere. So my mom would always get tons and tons of collard greens or greens and snap beans and black eyed peas and these other peas and ham hocks or something like that, and menudo and hog head cheese. My grandfather made all that stuff from scratch. So our freezer was primarily filled with stuff from my grandfather's garden, down in the freezer part at least. So that's a lot. That's what really kept us, honestly. Because we still didn't have a lot of food. If it wasn't for my granddad, our fridge would still be almost just as bare. Okay, yeah, almost just as bare as if we were on our own without my dad. We did have the staples though when my dad was back in our life, like cheese, like real cheese, excuse me, like cheese slices, eggs, grits, oatmeal, corn flakes. Oh yay, whoop-de-doo. Yeah, we moved dad's back in our life. Oh, we get corn flakes. Man, wow, we're really upgrading. But the food game and choices were weak, honestly. So shouts out to my granddad, because as I look back, if it wasn't for him all those years, man, we really wouldn't have had a lot of choices. And me being a kid, I wasn't even into all that stuff anyways. I mean, every once in a while, but it was like, dog, we ate it every day. I called it slave food because I just got tired of eating it. Neck bones, neck bones, what else, man? Dog. I was about to say hog balls, pig knees, pig toes, greens, Jiffy cornbread. Oh my gosh, I was so sick of Jiffy cornbread. I liked hot water cornbread, but you know, my mom fixed whatever my dad liked. So basically, what my dad liked is what we ate. So I guess that's why we had crappy dinner all the time, because my dad always ate that slave food. My mom, she used to laugh, and she kind of didn't like it when I used to start saying it, but I used to call it slave food, man. Beans and Jiffy cornbread and fried chicken was cool, but I mean, it just, where's the variety? It just, that food just seems so depressing to me. It's just, but all I can remember is, well, whatever my dad wanted, that's what we had. He dictated every single thing. Every once in a while, she'd try to change it up, but when she did, my dad complained. He would say, it's too much of this in there, it's too much of that in there, it's making me break out, I'm getting high, so I don't like this. Or I'm like, oh my gosh, we can't do anything. We can't eat what we want. And food was slim regardless of the fact too. Even for us to live in the suburbs, by that time, I don't think I really I was a picky eater. So when I was able to go to the grocery store, and using air quotes, to get anything I wanted, the things I wanted, they said I couldn't get because it was too much money. I'm talking about food, or maybe something like nobody else in the house is gonna want it, but I'm like, you asked me what I want. You said you could go in the store and get anything you want. Or it was too sugary, or they just thought I wasn't going to like it. I'm like, how are you going to think that I'm not gonna like something? Just because you never seen me have it before, just because you never seen it in the house, or just because it looks weird to you, you just automatically assume that you're not gonna buy it for me because you just automatically think I'm not gonna like it. So there wasn't much for me to choose from. And then when I did get what I want, I learned fast that it had to be something practical and it had to be highly inexpensive. So that really altered my decision making on choosing things when I grew up there. You know, it had to be something everybody liked, it had to be cheap, and it had to be practical. It had to make some sense, which was stupid because if I had those restraints, that mean I really wasn't getting what I wanted. So it came to a point where I just quit picking stuff. I would just tell them I don't know. I knew what I really wanted when I would go places, but by that time, you know, over the years of getting told that all the time, you just get conditioned. Like, what's the point? Because they're gonna not let you get it anyways. So I just said I don't know, or I just would say I didn't want anything. Let's see. The unsatisfactory foods you get to eat being poor. I learned as I got older that my dad did put us on a budget. Of course, cool, fine. But when it came to the food budget, my mom, it just was agitating because I saw the stress and anxiety and disappointment when my dad only budgeted a little bit of money for us, like $20 for groceries. And it's like, I thought we moved over here because this was the quote unquote rich people section, and you wanted to give us a better life and things were going to be better, but it's, you know, we have a whole family to feed. And it was crazy because by that time my sister was born. I think she was born in 94? Yeah, 93, 94, because late 93, 94, because I was in 4th grade. So things got even tighter. I just didn't understand it. My mom, she just looked worried all the time. It just really bothered me. It bothered me so bad. It made me angry, sad, upset, and confused because I had so many questions to ask her. Like, why we don't have a lot of money for food? How come dad only giving us $20 for food? Or how come we don't have enough to do this or to do that? Nothing was making sense to me. If this was supposed to be a better life and we were in a better neighborhood with better schools and an alleged better house, I thought we were supposed to be happier. How come every week you looking like you want to cry and struggling because we had to make $20 stretch? I'm like, this is no different from us living back in the apartment when it was just you and me and my older sister. At least we were happy. At least we knew it was just us. I thought when he came in our world, things was going to be better. It was going to alleviate some of that stress, but it's just worse. My dad, from what I could remember and see, he gave my mom an X amount of money to do whatever she needed to do. Get her personal items, get us squared away, like for our school clothes, our necessary things, and groceries. So after all that, we never had much left, and my mama never bought herself anything because she was always providing for the family. Let me stay on subject though, but we never had a lot of wiggle room to get much for food, so I would see the struggle, and I would see my mom in the grocery store. Now that was embarrassing, always seeing her in the grocery store frowning up all the time and huffing and puffing and talking under her breath and pushing the grocery cart with aggression. It just made the whole shopping experience at the grocery store, I didn't ever want to be there. It wasn't fun anymore as I got older and was able to observe more. It really killed the joy of wanting to go to the store with my mom. It would take so long in the store because she would be in there trying to figure out how to make it work with what she had. I saw the stress. I saw her doing the number crunching. I saw her writing stuff on her list. I saw her scratching out stuff on the list. I saw her getting upset when there was things on the list she wanted to get but couldn't because we were already at like $17.85. We're almost at $20, Mom. You know, and we still had to, that didn't even include like paper towels and, let's see, if we needed, paper towels and household cleaning supplies like Windex, window cleaner, toilet paper, stuff like that. I'm like, this is ridiculous. My mom is stressing out. It shouldn't be this way. Her energy started festering on me as, the more I got older and was able to see more things. When you get older, you just start to comprehend more. It just was sickening. I'm like, and this went on. This went on all the way until I moved out of the house. Some days we'll have a lot of food, some days we wouldn't, And on the days we did get a lot of food, I was so scared to eat because I didn't want it to go away so fast and we'd be back struggling next to nothing. So I started developing poor eating habits for years because I was like, I don't want to eat too much because I want if we had good food, I was like, I didn't want to eat too much because I want my sisters to have some too. My goal was to stretch it out as far as I could. So it was like that stuff was passed on to me. Watch my mom stretch $20 and worry and stress and see how long she can make things last, passed down onto me into how I ate. So I wasn't eating like I should because I was so worried. I wanted the food to last, at least the good food when we were able to get it, like name brand food. I wanted it to last. So I would just nibble on food or, say I wasn't hungry or things like that. And it got into a routine where I just wasn't eating a lot. Or I started eating pasta a lot because I learned that was inexpensive, but it was really good. I had no idea, though, that it wasn't nourishing. You just can't eat pasta all day. I didn't know, though. I would hear my mom say it every once in a while, but they weren't emphasizing it a lot. I guess the main thing was they saw me eating and I was full. So they overlooked the fact that I really wasn't getting any nourishment for my body. The things they overemphasized to me and stressed were stupid things. Like don't tell your business, which I'm doing now. Don't tell your business. But as far as eating, being nutritious, they didn't stress that. So it kept the peace. It kept them out of my hair. And the older I got, let's just say high school, I had a little more freedom. I was a little more busier with, homework and stuff. So I didn't eat a lot of the food my mom made. By that time, her food started not tasting appealing to me. It started tasting sorrowful. Sorrowful meaning not spoiled, but like that book, like Water for Chocolate or something. It's a Hispanic book or something. It's about these Mexican women who had some type of restaurant where her emotions poured into her food as she cooked. Well, that's exactly what happened to my mom. It was like her soul was dying, was dead, her spirit was killed, and that soulless energy was getting into the food. So it didn't taste right anymore to me. I didn't want to eat it, so I tried to avoid it as much as I could. I felt so sorry for my mom. She really was she lost herself, Being in a strained marriage, it was too much dictatorship. So I would eat just to survive, I just would eat just to survive because the food wasn't that good. We didn't have much there, and the food we had was just like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. We didn't have much to choose from. This is my story. we just didn't really have much to choose from, okay? We had cookies and stuff because my dad ate a lot of junk food. I wasn't really much of a junk food eater, though. I was pretty conscious about that. I didn't eat too much candy because I just didn't really like it too much. So when we did have candy, I preferred chocolates. But once again, I didn't want to eat too many because I felt they were keeping account of that. And it's like, oh, this is just too much. This is just too much. So I developed poor eating habits growing up there, not eating enough, just eating to survive, not eating for enjoyment, just eating because I had to. And I carried that over into my adulthood life. And I didn't even realize how skinny and underweight I was until my husband came into my life. I had no idea. I honestly looked like a crackhead. And I never did drugs like that. But I didn't know. Poor eating habits, you just don't know. So that's what happened to me. The unsatisfactory foods you get to eat. I know I ended up getting a job in high school, I think my 11th grade year. And so I started kind of buying food for myself after school because I just couldn't take it anymore. I just didn't want to eat the same thing. My mom made the same thing over and 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 over. I'm like, wow. Oh my gosh, Dad, you really did it. and that's true. We really had the same things over and over. After my grandfather passed, of course, we didn't have the accessibilities as much as of the greens and stuff like that. That kept the things that kept our freezer full. I'm trying to think if anything changed. Nothing really changed too much. I was just afraid to overeat or get too full because I wanted the food to last till the next day or to make sure everybody had enough. So I couldn't eat to enjoy it because I just was always worried, is it gonna be enough the next go round? I didn't want to be greedy. So instead of getting like 2 pieces of chicken like I really wanted, I would just get one. I just skim my portion sizes down and just said I was full. Or just didn't say anything at all. I just excused myself from the table and just act like everything was cool, But for some odd reason, I didn't understand why my mom and dad were getting so fat and we didn't have a lot of food. I didn't get it. I'm like, it seemed like they should be just as skinny as us if we don't have much food. That confused me too. I don't think I ever asked them that. I just was tired of asking them questions I wasn't getting any answers for. I quit asking. But I never understood that. I'm like, how are you guys so fat now and we don't have much to eat? You should be as skinny as me. And then you complain you want to lose weight or you're gonna lose weight. It just didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, are you eating food while we're at school that we don't know about? Do you have a secret stash of food or something? Because you guys are getting large. If anything, your kids should get a large because we're more active. Oh, the thoughts that ran through my head. But not having many food choices, that's how I took it. That's how I took it in life. You should be thankful for what you have. I put food on the table and clothes on your back. Yeah, whatever. I could care less about that because you weren't putting any love in there. It was a season with love. I think if my dad was more appreciative and my mom and dad just all together just explained themselves more clearly, or exercise gratitude, the spirit of gratitude, instead of we're just making do with what we got, we take what we given, the Lord will provide all our needs. Like on this slave tip type of spirit, I think it would have been a lot better. the unsatisfactory foods you have to eat when you're poor. You go over to other people's houses. I think that's what made it worse. I would go to other people's houses, like our cousins when we did, but it was rare. Or just on TV, or listen to kids talk about what they had for dinner, or how they were always going out to dinner. It was like, how come we don't do that? How come we don't have that? Why don't we go out to dinner? Oh, because it's too much. We rarely went out to dinner. I don't think we ever went out to dinner as a family. I really had to think about that, because it was always, we never have enough money. We never have enough money. We never have enough money. I'm like, dang. We would order pizza sometimes. But when we did, I kind of stopped getting excited, because it was like, when is the next time we're going to have this? 50 years from now? So it kind of wasn't exciting. It was always bittersweet when we finally did get something good. It was like bittersweet, because it's like, why give us this and we're not going to have it again for a long, long time? I'd rather not have it, because it'll remind me of what I'm missing. You know? It was just, I just found it odd. We moved over there to have a better life, but it was worse. It just didn't make sense to me. We didn't do anything. It would have been nice if we did go out to eat, but we didn't. It would have been nice if we had different varieties of food, but my dad dictated that. My mom, she said she used to be a good cooker. She liked to cook, but she told me she didn't know what happened. I know what happened. She just got beat down by him, wore out from life, wore out from taking care of us. She, who knows if she even wanted kids to begin with. So she had to take care of us and stop her dreams, because she was going to school. She was creative, but she stopped all that. So, I get it. So all the blame don't go on my dad. My mom should have fought harder too. But yeah, when you don't have a lot of food, everybody takes it different. Some people just eat because they like to eat. It just was weird. I just know it really affected my health and my future. And if it wasn't for my husband coming into my life, just really noticing things about me that I didn't notice, because that's just how I lived, I would be sick all the time. I used to be sick all the time, and it probably came from stress and not eating right. I had no idea I was that skinny, man. I didn't know. I had no idea I was so skinny. Man, I love my husband so much. He makes sure I eat. He makes sure I get what I want. Not like a spoiled brat, but just when we go to the store, he'll try to encourage me, because it's really hard sometimes. I've gotten a lot better, way better. I developed stuff like I developed those negative traits like from my mom. I wouldn't get anything. I would just make sure my son had food, and my husband had what they wanted, and I wouldn't pick what I wanted, because I felt if I picked what I really wanted, I would be taking from the family. I would be taking from them collectively. My husband was like, no babe, I get where you're coming from, but you don't have to live like that anymore. You with me, it's different. You don't have to put yourself last. You don't have to sacrifice all the time. You don't have to sacrifice yourself all the time, especially when it comes to food, because he's like, if you're not healthy, we're going to be worried about you, and it's just going to take the mood down. I'm like, I get it. If you're not healthy, how can you be there for the baby? And for us, everybody should be equally balanced. So it was really hard. It was really hard. But now I don't feel as guilty at all as for going to the store getting what I want. And it's funny, because the stuff I want really don't cost that much. So I'll shake my head and think about why my parents always complained that everything was so expensive. But I love my husband. I'm so forever grateful for him, because he's helping me be more aware and not be so Like, don't be the sacrificial lamb all the time, because family take advantage of that and just think that's who you are, and they'll do what they want to do and dismiss you. So, you know, growing up we really didn't have a lot of food. We didn't. I can't say that. It was weird. It just didn't make sense for us to live in the suburbs and have a better life, and we were really struggling for food. It just didn't make sense. I don't know, I was trying to think if there's anything else to say. Once again, if there is, I'll just make a second video. But tell me how you feel growing up when you didn't have a lot of food. Did that change your eating habits? I know some people who grow up without having a lot of food, when they can get a lot of food on their own, they kind of go overboard and eat too much, you know, develop eating habits because they're finally getting the sweets and the good food that they always wanted, and they get too heavy, you know, get fat and gain weight. I get it, I really do, because the stuff you always wanted but couldn't have because of financial reasons. Me, on the other hand, I was always sick and unhealthy. I was too skinny. I was way too skinny because of that. So what was your outcome if you grew up struggling and didn't have food? Did you tell yourself, I'm never going to be like that? I'm not going to have my kids struggling like that. When I get my own family, or when I move out of the house, I'm going to make sure my refrigerator is always filled, or I'm going to at least get one thing every time I go to the grocery store that I want, and get all other practical stuff, you know, like your staples: milk, eggs, cheese, ham, whatever. How do you feel if you're struggling now? Do you feel embarrassed? Do you feel embarrassed taking the bridge card? Did you guys feel embarrassed for people of my age who got the paper food stamps? Was it so taboo to talk about growing up getting paper food stamps? As I go back, I realized since we were getting food stamps, now that I'm older, we didn't have a lot of food, even though we were getting food stamps, because they were getting sold. Now, who's selling them? I don't know. I don't know if my mom was selling them to pay the bills, or she gave them all to my dad and he sold them and we didn't see a dime of the money. I don't know. Like my husband said, if you leave room open for speculation, you're going to speculate and try to figure it out on your own. Only reason I'm saying all this stuff now is because I couldn't get these questions out and answered from my parents. So here I am, just speculating and looking back and thinking, figuring it out and moving on. Makes a great story, but if these questions were properly handled and answered, I wouldn't even be talking about this stuff like that. But I know I'm not the only one who's going through these things, so I'm sharing it. I want to get my story out there. It's just time. It's time for people to get to know me a little more, where I come from, how difficult it really was. Because from the outside looking in, our family was perfect. And I hated that because it made the cry for help go unheard. So people who are in my situation I was in, fight a little harder. If you have a hard time communicating with your parents because everything is no, or authoritative, or dictatorship, or they twist your words around, or really unfortunately don't want to answer those hard questions, and they get hostile with you and blame it on you, try writing a letter to them to see if you can get through to them that way. Try to get clarity So you won't be left guessing and wondering and trying to pick up the pieces. You don't want to put the story together and it's wrong. But if you don't have all the pieces, you're forced to put it together yourself. So you're right that you're rightfully intended to just do that if they don't give you the answers, and they can't get mad at you when you do that, because they're not giving you the key to what you need to make the picture clearer, to better understand them. The unsatisfactory foods you get to eat when you're poor. How has it changed your lifestyle, your daily eating habits? How has it affected your family, your future? How did it affect you then? Were you able to concentrate in school because you were hungry? How did the school lunch program affect you? Did you get free lunch, or did you pay for your lunch, or did you have to bring your lunch? That's another story. I think I will stop there and make this a part 2. In fact, let me grab my pencil. I have my paper right here. I'm looking for my pencil. So for part 4, I'm writing this down as we speak. It will be hot food lunch, school lunch. SCHOOL. So I'll put that down. It'll be about school lunches. I'll get ready to cut this off. Once again, it's me, LA, pronounced like LA, like the city. I'm not from there, but I'm breezy. We're from Saginaw, Michigan, not Saginaw, Texas. Saginaw, Michigan, not Saginaw, Texas. Telling you my story from my point of view. Putting the piece together the best way I can based on the information I was given, which wasn't much, just speculation, keen observation, common sense, and just realizing things and how they work and how they're supposed to work and how they're not supposed to work as I grew up. I love my mom and dad, but that's just the story I'm telling. No holds barred. Subscribe and like Elay TV, yo. Hey, what's up? It's me, LA, pronounced like LA, like the city. I'm not from there, but I'm breezy. Repping Saginaw, Michigan, not Saginaw, Texas. I am repping Saginaw, Michigan, not Saginaw, Texas, 989 exclusively. Hey, it's When You're Poor, part 4. Hot in the summertime, H-O-T, hot child in the city. Yeah, that song is nice. Yeah, when you're hot, and you're poor, it's just misery. The word misery comes to mind, followed by smoldering. Smoldering misery. Agony, but not defeat. Not defeat because poor folks always find a way. We's always finds a way. Okay, so growing up, it was always the summertime. I do like the summertime, but it was never my favorite season. I prefer spring because it's right on the money of being in right down the middle in all of the 4 seasons. Spring is unpredictable, but you know what it's supposed to present, what it's supposed to carry. Oh, my computer. So hang on, it's doing weird. Okay, so anyways, when it's hot and you're poor, you just make it work. And I'm going by experience. We just made it work, okay? We had fans, no air conditioner. I've always heard of air conditioner, but I really didn't know what it was, but I knew how to use it in the sentence per se. like, oh, they have air conditioners, so they don't need a fan. You know what I mean? So I know it was always cool or cold in certain places or homes or buildings and businesses. Like in the summertime, it would be burning up in our apartment, 644 Sophomore Street, and previous to that. But that's where I can remember the most. It would be burning up, or whoever other house we went to, it would be like fire, and it was smoldering hot in the car. So it was like we would leave from one hot place to an even hotter place, and the even hotter place was actually the car. We would keep the windows and stuff rolled down all the way down, but it didn't help. The seats were still hot. We had a Buick Century, I believe. It was blue. Oh my gosh, it was 4-door. It was so cool. We've had other vehicles too that I just don't want to talk about right now, because all of them were hot and none of them had air conditioners. So we always had the windows rolled down. We would leave from the hot apartment, get into a super hot car, where I thought it was absolutely pointless to have the windows rolled down because it didn't do anything. But let bugs and bees in. And then we would drive to either family members or to church or to the grocery store. But I'll just say we went to the grocery store, from a hot apartment to a super hot car where the seat buckles were blazing lava, stung our shoulders, left a mark. Hey, instant tattoo. Gosh, seatbelt buckle. Yeah, my tattoo was seatbelt buckle. And then we would go into the store and then witness absolute coldness. I would experience absolute coldness. Now I'll remember the store. The store is still open. It's called It's in Riverview Plaza. The store is, I believe, affiliated with the Spartan, but the grocery store is still there to this day in 2019. And that's the grocery store my mom and I used to go to. And it was always cold in there. And I couldn't take it because it was just too cold. And I kind of didn't understand why it was so cold. So cold. So cold. So cold. Who made that song? Two groups made So Cold. I was just listening to them, but regardless of the fact, it was So Cold by Breaking Benjamin. I like that So Cold. There's another So Cold too. Looking back at me, I see that I never really got it right. That So Cold is awesome, but my first favorite So Cold is by Breaking Benjamin. That one is nice. It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. Then he get higher. It's alright. I'm like, yeah. Okay, back on being so cold in the grocery store. I was in shock because I'm like, Mama, if it was so cold in here, how come you didn't tell me to have a sweater? Because it would be that cold. Little did I know I was anemic. So any type of cold just really shut me down. So I was so like, I want to go back in the car because it's too cold in here, and I didn't understand why it was so cold. It was kind of a shock because it was from heat to heat, from glory to glory, as Christian people say. And when I say Christian people like that, I'm talking about the ones that make all the other Christians look bad. So we went from heat to heat and then to cold. It was a shock. So the whole time in the grocery store, I'm bugging out and stuck on the fact that it's so cold. I just wanted to leave and go back home. Not to the hot car, but just go back home. And I think that's when my mom told me, they have the freezers and stuff running because, they don't want the food to go bad, XYZ. I'm like, yeah, I get it, but do I have to be that cold? But even to this day, grocery stores, even in 2019, it's still cold in the grocery store. It's crazy. It's like I have to, in the summertime, if I'm going to Walmart and it's blazing hot outside, I had to like still, I want to wear long sleeves or have a sweater tied around my waist because of the freezer section. We go into the grocery side of Walmart and halfway into the groceries aisle, like where the cereal is, I'm starting to feel the cold. So, I have to have long sleeves. I need to have a parka on, a scarf, ski gloves, ski mask. And a lot of people say, like if you're cold and you can't afford an air conditioner, an AC, or have central air. I'm like, wait a minute, what the F is central air? I'm like, isn't air conditioner central air? Isn't central air conditioner, tomato, one and the same? That confused me for the longest. The only reason I started to really try to figure out, when I'm using invisible air quotes, of what central air was, is because the way my parents carried on about it. Ooh, they got central air. Central air. Oh, they doing alright. They living alright. They ain't got nothing to worry about. They got central air. I'm like, what the H is central air? Because when y'all say air conditioner, you're like, oh, they got air conditioner. I'm like, okay. The bottom line is they're keeping cool in their house during the blaze, right? How come with you people one thing is better than the other? How come one thing you make it painfully obvious that one thing is superior than the other? Central air, they ain't got nothing to worry about. Ooh, they sitting up in all that central air, that good cold air. I'm like, y'all talk like poor people. I know we were poor, but dang, poor people don't have to talk like that. But unfortunately, the people I was around talk like that. And another person talked like that in my life. I'm like, oh my gosh, I save your money and get one of those things, or just buy more fans, or just shut up, complaining that it's hot, I'm angry, it's hot, sitting up under these fans. I gotta come home and leave a job that's hot, sit up in a house that's hot. I'm like, well, you got a job, why don't you get central air or an air conditioner? Oh, I just didn't get it. But I learned through their undertone that central air was better than an air conditioner. I'm like, you idiots. Before I even knew what bougie was, you guys are bougie, and I don't even like how that sounds. I like to say black folks stuck up or just stuck up. Anybody thinking they're superior than anything, it don't need to be categorized as you an a-hole and you stuck up. F the word bougie. I think that's just some stupid crap black people claim because they walking around here claiming we ain't got nothing to claim. That's pig-headed. You sitting around here being all stuck up. Oh boy. Air conditioner, central air. Well, I learned that though. So in our apartment we didn't have either one. And I think I remember asking my mom, how come we don't have an air conditioner, after I finally started realizing what they were. Because I think the downstairs neighbor named Miss Irene, a strange lady who lived downstairs from us in our apartment, she had one. And on her porch, she had a window. So she would have like her air conditioner, her AC, which was a heavy box that she stuck in her window, and part of it hung out the outside, and she had like a stick, like a wood plank to prop it up. And I'm like, why don't we have that? If we actually got to go into her apartment one day, and I'm like, man, it feels good in here. And that's when my mom and Miss Irene was explaining to us briefly and shortly that's what the box in the window was for. It's an air conditioner. It was a cooling system, a cooling device, a cooling mechanism to keep her apartment cool because, you know, she couldn't stand the heat. Plus, she was a senior citizen by that time. I couldn't tell she was a senior citizen. I thought she was just a regular old woman, but not senior citizen. Like, I gonna need to take my medicine and I need my walker. But hey, so I asked my mom, I'm like, how come we don't just get one of those since, you know, it's always hot up here? Oh, cause your dad don't want the window open like that cause somebody could break in. I'm like, break in? We on the top floor of this tall house, an apartment house. We on the top floor. How could somebody break in? If anything, they breaking into our grandmama's house, who lived in the same apartment house as we did, but she lived in the back. Or that other lady, Miss Harris, who lived downstairs. If anybody getting broken into, is them two lonely old single women. I don't think my grandma had a AC in her room, in her house, probably because the reason that my daddy was like, I don't want nobody breaking in. I'm like, number one, we're in the ghetto. Number two, they're at the bottom of the apartment, so they're gonna get robbed, shot, and or killed first, cause their windows are lower. We are at the top. How in the H are they gonna climb up and break in? Well, that's what he thought. And I'm like, my dad worries so much, he's paranoid too much. He probably couldn't afford one anyways. But we never got one. And the mystery around that, it shook me too. I'm like, God dang! If you go sit up here and complain that it's hot, either you need to solve the problem or shut the H up because you're really making me feel weird. And that was before I knew about energies and how when certain people come around, they take the life out of the room. I just knew that hearing all that complaining that was just going around in circles and wasn't finding a resolution to made me feel bad, and I didn't like it. Like, just take it, you know, dog. Quit stating the obvious because you're making me realize the obvious that I got faded to, and now I gotta deal with realizing that I'm hot, I'm poor, and you here complaining and I'm not happy now. That's too much. Being hot when you're poor, if you don't have the right mindset, just makes everything bitter and sad. And we never had enough fans anyways, or one would break, and I saw how hard that was a struggle to afford a stupid fan. And it was hard for me to stay in a positive place because I realized we couldn't even afford a fan. So if one broke, we were just out of luck. It just was confusing. It was just so confusing. I'm like, we can't even afford a fan. Or like the front of the fan, we had a circle fan that was tall and it was a circulation fan. So it had 4 legs, a long pole, and the fan would just turn around, you know, just move its head like tick, 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 left, tick, 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 right. I remember the cover kept coming off of the front, and then the cover just stayed off because apparently since it kept coming off, and tape didn't work. Oh, tape didn't work. We just kept it off and it looked dangerous, so we were always, it was like, don't go by that fan, don't go by that fan, don't go by that fan. I'm like, well, how else I'm supposed to get in the kitchen? Go around the other way. I'm like, okay, but I would forget because I'm so used to going that way. I still would go by the fan. Don't go by that fan, you might fall into it and get cut up. I'm like, well, what the H? You got something in here that's that dangerous, and I'm a child, and it's obvious I keep forgetting that I could get cut up and hurt myself and get sent to the hospital. Why would you have something dangerous like that around? Don't go that way. Don't go that way. How many times I told you not to go that way by the fan? And in my head, I'm like, I keep forgetting. Oh my gosh. I go this way every single day. So it's going to be really hard for me to break that pattern, okay? Can't you realize that? Can't you just move the fan? No, I can't move that fan because it's in the right spot for the air to circulate with the windows being open. I'm like, what the F you talking about? Circulation, windows open. I'm like, the window's open, check, we got a fan, check. Don't come at me with all this scientific stuff about circulation and how one side of the windows from the apartment gonna pull in some of the window air out, the hot air out, and pull cold air in. I'm like, it's not pulling nothing in and it's not pulling nothing out. If anything, it's just stirring around more hot air. More hot air. I'm like, you want to get deep, technological, and scientific on me now? Talking about the circulation and circumference of how air pulls out of hot, in and out cold air. I'm like, you can just save me with all that, because your method's still not working. It's still hot in here. So I remember I got into a lot of trouble all the time because that particular fan, which I think was brown and tan, a brown and tan color. So apparently if I could allegedly fall into the fan blades and get cut up, the blades were metal. And I don't even think that was our fan. That was my grandmama's fan from downstairs. So I'm like, if that's my grandmama's fan from downstairs, what the H is she using? Daddy? Oh, won't. When you're poor, part 4, and it's hot outside, the ignorance that happens in the poor mindsets of some black people is like that trash you see right there on walking by. I'm surprised I'm not literally dead because of all the negativity I grew up around. What? Did I just say that? A soup kitchen to slop, man. Their mindsets, man. So I thought by them being adults, they would have handled the situation a lot better, just dealing with what they have opposed to complaining about it, amplifying and magnifying the situation more. When we were supposed to be, I thought, happy, just happy with what you had. I'm like, okay, if you want us to be happy with what we have, we're not complaining about the heat you are. Oh, it's okay for you to rant and us to take it and just be quiet? It's weird. Or maybe we could just be silent. Let's take a little walk around the park. What's up, Jill Scott? When you're poor and it's hot. So that's my segment about the fans. I remember when my dad wasn't around, thank the Lord. It was really, really hot one day. I guess too hot to bear. Because right on the corner of Warren Street and going towards Cherry, I believe, there was a fire hydrant and somebody broke it open. And there was a lot of kids out there and water was everywhere. And my mom finally broke down and was like, yeah, y'all can go out there. She came with us. I thought that sucked. Because it was literally right across the street. I'm like, don't nobody want to take us. Don't nobody want to kidnap some ghetto black kids. Okay, that's how my mindset was. Based on the energy that I got from how people looked at us. Unless I was reading it wrong, but I highly doubt that. You know, nobody want no ghetto black kids standing around a fire hydrant. We probably all look like rats and no predators want us. That's what I thought. Nobody want us. Let's just go play. So my mom finally let us go out there. But by the time we got out there, it was over. I wasn't even out there 5 minutes. My mom had fun until she finally started to loosen up, but the water pressure had began to go down, so it wasn't shooting out like it was prior. And the whole reason we didn't go out there when it first jumped off was because my mom was like, oh, I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to get in trouble when the police come or the firemen come to shut off the fire hydrant. Somebody went out there and got some type of wrench, big old monkey wrench. I'm like, you a monkey wrench? My daddy a monkey wrench. Y'all both monkey wrenches. Well, somebody went out and got a monkey wrench and illegally bust open the fire hydrant. I don't want to be around it when they get caught. I'm like, well, send us out. We can't go to jail. They not gonna know you did it. They don't know who did it because there wasn't any adults around. So if you bring your stupid tail down there, then yeah. But thoughts that ran through my head, you know. But I was just confused. It seemed like I was confused all the time and never had anything to say because the stuff I did have to say that was in my mind, I probably would have been incapacitated a long time ago. You know, sometimes I remember talking to my parents, just stating the obvious when I was older, like in my teens. And I would say something, speak my mind, and I don't remember nothing after that. So, it's like, what's the point of telling the truth? Because when I tell the truth, all I remember is black after that. So I'm like, what the F? I'm just gonna be quiet. So I lived in my head a long time, just, you know, looking lost, because I was over the fact that these people are so stupid. They're so stupid. Oh my gosh, they're stupid. There's a difference between being unlearned, not smart, and just being ignorant, okay? So I should just say ignorant. There's a difference between not knowing things and being just downright ignorant. Piss poor slave mentality thoughts. So by the time my mom finally let us go down there, the party was pretty much over. Now it was kind of, I felt defeated because it was like, what's the point of coming out here? Because as soon as it started, the fun was instantly over. That hurt worse than not being able to go out there. She took too long to make her decision for us to go out there in the fire hydrant to be with all the kids, cool off, have fun. And we pretty much missed it. I think they did that 3 times in my lifetime of living over there on 644 South Warren Street, and afterwards we finally got to do it, but I don't think we got to do it anymore. She must have told my dad what we did and we really couldn't do it anymore. But I don't know why my mom always planted a seed of fear, always talking about somebody might take you. I'm like, N-word, don't nobody want us. It's nothing to take. We don't look good. Now that's what I was saying, you know, like, oh my gosh. Oh boy. When it's hot and you're poor, coming from my point of view, oh my gosh. I've just pondered on how come we just couldn't get any fans. If we always setting up layaways, why don't you put some fans in the layaway? Oh, I'm not gonna put no fans in the layaway because the season don't last long. So what's the point in getting fans and putting them in the layaway? So next time we don't gotta complain about it. Christmas come and go, but y'all put up a layaway to put Christmas stuff in there? Cause y'all just want to be ready for the season. So why not be ready for summer? Put in some fans in the layaway at Kmart. What up, Kmart? The ones that's left. Why don't you just set up a layaway, put fans in there, and then we don't have to ever go through this commotion again. Seasons. I'm like, your logic is so stupid. I'm like 1 year old and telling you this stuff and you just not thinking it through. So, I mean, I gotta listen to you every summer complaining that it's hot. And I'm providing resolutions and you're just like, no. If we're gonna suffer through it, quit complaining about it. Because you're making this whole situation of being poor and hot even worse to bear. It's like, why are we even here? Why are we even here? You know, like, can't you just give us away to somebody else who can afford something then? Because you seem like life is so hard. Just get rid of us. Give us to somebody else. Because you just can't seem to keep nothing together. When you're poor and it's hot outside, coming from a piss poor mentality of a black people, it sucks. And I see why they become angry, because you're just surrounded by negativity that just don't make sense. It's just going around in circles, not solving anything. And I just didn't want to be around it, but I was just a child and I couldn't go anywhere, so I had to figure out how to deal with all the tension and negativity of how My dad couldn't handle the heat and he would be angry all the time because it was hot. And complaining and yelling. I'm like, summer come every year. Why not prepare for it? They don't think. Oh, you think it's going to be better next time. It's going to be better next time. It's going to be better next time. With a mindset like that and no preparation, it's never going to be better next time. That's why I never would get, and I used to argue with them about that. But I'm just a child. I need to know my place and don't need to be having my hands in people's pockets. Well, I'm like, well, if you would do better, we wouldn't even be having all these questions. I hated when it was hot in the summertime. Plus, we couldn't go to school to get away. We were there all day with my parents and nothing to do. I'm thankful I am where I am now. It's nice to go back and share these stories just to get them out there. And just so my son can know how mom grew up. Because he don't have it as bad as me. I'm not saying I'm going to make him suffer to learn the ways of old just so he can never forget where he came from. You still can teach him that, but not in the way I grew up, because that was just a mental pain. But yeah, I'm sharing these stories just so my son can hear them and have something to keep about his mom, how things were when she grew up, and how I had to figure out ways to just stay happy and positive, and how my parents weren't perfect. No parents are perfect, but my parents weren't perfect, and I turned out okay. I still turned out okay. Even though they didn't teach me anything, I still turned out okay. Your children are old to know who their parents are. They're old that because they need to know who their parents are so they get to know more about who they are. The good, the bad, the ugly, the in-between. As your child grows older, you have to tell them about you. It's fair, so they won't be walking around confused or not really knowing who their parents are. Especially while they're alive. Me, while I'm alive, they need to just know. So I'm at a good, happy place in my life where I do want to tell my stories. My son is a teenager now, so I feel great. A lot of scars have healed. And a lot of confusion is being settled as I've moved forward. And I know I'm not the only person who went through this, and as long as there are people still reproducing, people are still going through the exact thing I have gone through. So maybe if you have more understanding parents or something, use the layaway tactic to at least prepare for the summer. You can put fans in the layaway if you can't afford an air conditioner, or put an air conditioner in the layaway so you can at least have it ready for next year. Things like that, people. You have to be proactive. Quit thinking things are gonna get better and not putting money to the side. You have to, it's good to stay positive and know that things are going to get better, but you have to put money to the side in order to make things get better. Crap not just gonna fall out the sky. You gotta stop making and thinking Jesus gonna do everything. He gave you a mind. He gave you a body. Get off your butt and go do something. Not everything is in our control. Yes, so those are the things you lead to the Lord or a higher power. But like stupid stuff like, you know it's gonna be hot every year. Get a effing layaway together. Set some money aside so when that comes, you can go buy you some fans. Get you an air conditioner. Stop being stupid. Come on, people, wake up. It's not that hard. Some of these things are easy to fix. Don't look at saving money like, oh, it's just some coins. It's not gonna add up to nothing. That's BS. You have 1 year. If you start preparing for the summer right now for next year, you have 1 year, and just think how much money you will have saved to get your fans next year. You'll be able to walk out the store and buy them. But growing up, my day, people didn't seem to think like that. Oh, I was just a child, so you're not supposed to do stuff like that. I guess because it's not accumulating fast enough, it's not good enough. But that's a whole nother video, and I'm about to write that down now. Black people's mindset when it comes to saving money. I'm writing that down now. Black people's mindset when it comes to saving money, according to me. I'm so happy. So when you're hot and you're poor in the summertime, it's not fun, according to me growing up back then. Didn't make any sense. We couldn't even afford fans. But we couldn't get an air conditioner because it cost too much.